Okay guys, so today I'm going to be bringing y'all a little rod and reel arsenal for spring of 2017. Now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 that I use. Now I don't use all of them all the time, but they all have their special purpose and their time to be used. Now as of the time I'm filming this video, I have 0 sponsors whatsoever. No rod, reel, line, bait sponsors, nothing like that. So all these rods and reels I picked out and used, not because anybody's paid me or gave them to me, but because that's what I really wanted and that's what I wanted to use. And yes, I do have rod socks on every single rod I have. That just makes them slide in and out of the rod locker a whole lot easier. And it also, I can just here, that also allows me to lay them all here, bunch them up together, and hit them against each other, and then not get scratches on them, and not get tangled up in line. So, on this first one, I guess I'll start off with this one. Now, the rod is a 703 Powell Inferno. The reel is a Lose Tournament MB, and I just got straight up 30-pound braid on that. Now this rod and reel, I really like it, but it has its strengths and weaknesses. Now this is a medium heavy, and I did think it was going to be an awesome jig rod. Turns out it's not a good jig rod at all, in my opinion. It may be just because I put the braid on it, it may not be, but personally, this rod is my grass master. Anything I have to do with grass, I really like to pull this out, which in grass, one of my favorite baits to throw is a Senko. This is a perfect Senko setup. Don't know why, it just is though. This nice smooth reel, I can flip a Senko, the lightest baits, this reel, just flip it out there with this braid on it. And this rod, just sensitive enough, good casting, 7 foot, I can cast it, whip it any way I want to, get it right into there. I really do like it. It's just, I don't know why, but I could not feel the bottom at all with this thing. Next we'll move on to this little spinning rod here. Now the rod is a Mach 1 spinning rod. It is a medium fast action. Yes it is. 6'9" I believe. And now the reel, this is a Fluger President XT. This is, I believe, as of now, it's one of their newest reels, spinning reels they have. It's sort of like a little bit of a red, and then this, I don't know what color you'd call that, but it's a really smooth reel. It's got 8 ball bearings. Now I mainly use this for shaky heads and little small Texas rigs. Every now and again I might throw a little wacky rigged Senko on this thing, but what this is my heavier spinning rod. Now I've got 2 spinning rods I keep in the boat. One's more of a lighter action, and this one here is my bigger thing. I like to use this for shaky heads and things that I really have to set the hook with. And on this, I have 20-pound white braid. Probably going to upgrade here not too long from now. And usually with my braid, I'll always tie some kind of lead. Now this next one we'll move into, got rod socks on all these things. But this here is just a straight up Pro Max, Aber Garcia Pro Max combo. Rod is a Pro Max, reel is a Pro Max. This is the first real bait caster I had, and I like it, I really do. Now what I've got on there is just 65-pound braid. I really don't use this very often at all because I do have more bait casters that I go to a whole lot more often. They're a whole lot more sensitive. This one isn't the most sensitive rod on the market, and that's about right because the combo comes in at about $90. If you're just getting into fishing, want something a little bit better than the Black Max, a little bit better than the Silver Max, go with this Pro Max. It's a good reel, 8 ball bearings, that's really good. It's not too awfully heavy, and nowadays I still keep it on my boat, fish it in some really thick cover or in just some grass with a good little topwater frog. Now the next one, this is another Pro Max reel, except the rod is a Shimano Zealeys. Now the rod, I gave $30 for it. The reel, it came off another Pro Max rod that broke. Now I've just got 15-pound mono on it. My dad uses it the most to fish jigs with, just like that jig that's on it. And yeah, it's mainly just a jig swim bait rod in case mine ever, I still get backlashes, and sometimes I get big backlashes. Now we'll move on to my second spinning reel, which is my lighter version of my spinning reels. The rod is a Denali Jadewood J2 series, and I really like it. It's a light action. It's actually a drop shot rod, designed for a drop shot rod, and that's what I use it for, is drop shot and little bitty finesse worm, trick worm, wacky rig, stuff like that. stuff that I have an open hook with and don't have to set the hook. If I need to set the hook on a spinning reel, I use that other one. Now the reel, this is one of my favorite reels for a long time. It's the 2016 limited edition President. It's also got 10 ball bearings and this little wood handle, which is one of my favorite parts. Now on this, I got 14-pound braid, and on this rod, I almost always have a leader on it. Sometimes, most of the time, 4-pound fluoro. Now this one here is actually a telescopic rod. It like folds down into itself. This is a Shimano Cellus. I don't really know how to say that name, but it's a Shimano Cellus. This one here is actually a flipping rod, which I don't use it for flipping. I got a big old Aura winch on it, $100 reel, best $100 reel I've honestly ever used. Really smooth with 20-pound fluorocarbon. Right now I have this underspin on it. A lot of times I'll throw big swim baits on this, and sometimes A-rigs. This here is a pretty technique specific combo, since it does have that giant line on it, big old rod, and this winch reel. And then, you know, every now and again, if I decide to throw a really big crankbait, I'll hook this sucker up on it and reel it. Now these last two are definitely my workhorses, get used the most. Almost every time I'm on the lake I use them. We'll start off with my cranking setup. This here is a Scott Martin TCS Okuma stick. It's a jerkbait and crankbait specific rod. For some reason, I have a spinnerbait on it. Probably not the best choice, but it does work. The reel? Now this is a Lew's BB1, I believe. And the gear ratio is 6:4:1. Now this rod right here is perfect for jerkbaits and crankbaits because it's got a really soft tip so you can work a jerkbait. And it's got a nice parabolic bend for those treble hook baits. As for line, I believe that's 10-pound fluorocarbon. It's either 10-pound or 12-pound. Pretty sure it's 10 though, so I do gotta be careful that I don't cast it into too heavy of cover. And this here was my favorite combo for a very long time until I got this next one, which is a Dixie custom rod. Now this is my favorite rod. Way by far the most sensitive rod I've ever used. Definitely in my boat. I also have it on this Quantum Smoke. Not a super big fan of Quantum, but I did get this reel on sale and I'm really liking it so far. And that is spooled up with 15-pound fluorocarbon. Now this combo's sole purpose is jigs. Now I did say I use this in the most. That's because I use a jig a lot, and I think jigs should be used like every day you go fishing, at least just to try it out. And yeah, I have Kendall Gray, the name on it, and then right there I have Matthew 21:22, a Bible verse on it, just to keep me up and going when I'm out there fishing and nothing's really biting. And yes, this rod does have micro guides on it, and it has a lot of them too, which is one reason it's super sensitive. If you keep up with my fishing this year, you'll be seeing this rod in my hand a whole lot. Now just like all these fishing poles have their own special purpose out on the water, so do we as Christians. Now Romans 12:4 says that for as in one body we have many members, and the members do not all have the same function. Now what that's basically saying is that all of us, everybody, has their own special and unique way to serve God. So maybe you're good at singing, or maybe you're not. Now personally, I don't think I'm a good singer, but does that stop me from singing on the mule and in the shower? Well, no, not at all. But that's beside the point. So maybe you're really good at talking and really good at making friends. That way, you could go around, make new friends, and tell them and spread the word like that. Or maybe you're like super good at fishing and you just want to go around honoring him at fishing events. One guy that I really like, his name's Mark Rose. He's a pro fisherman. I actually sort of went to one of his seminars. But yeah, he goes around and does fishing events and gives God the glory on everything. So just like that verse said, we all have our own function and we're all special in our own ways. So go out, find what you're good at, and find a way to glorify God with what you're good at. And that's your challenge, is to go find what you're good at and glorify God through that. Alright? So come back in a week or so and comment on this video how it's been going for you. Give me a little update. And I'll see y'all later. And go ahead and, hit the like button.